I put out a specific platform. You can measure me. I mean, I said, I have these steps to get to 700,000 jobs. This is how we need to fix citizens insurance in our property insurance market. These are the things we need to do for education. These are the things we need to do for lawsuit reform. If we do those things, jobs are going to flourish. Because when people stop and think, is that we're competing. We're competing for the hearts and minds of business people. They can say, you know what, I can live in any of 50 states, and today you can live in Panama, or Colombia, or Brazil, or maybe you want to live in India or China, because people are willing to invest in those countries, and they weren't willing to do that 20 years ago. So if we create an environment that our regulation is too much, our taxes and fees are too high, our attitude is poor, what's going to happen? The jobs are going to be here. They're going to be someplace else. So everything I'm doing is, how do we get jobs here? We know that we can do extremely well with tourism, #1 tourist destination in the world. And I've taken trips, tried to promote tourism. It's nice this year because it's freezing up north. It finally warmed up. I took trips up north to promote tourism. We know that we have a thriving agricultural business. We've got to make sure we continue that. We know that we should be a big success in shipping. We have 14 ports. Look at our location. Expansion of the Panama Canal. So we made sure we finished the dredge project in Miami, and so we can get the Miami. Sorry, I know you have a dredge project. I'm learning about it. One thing about being governor is you learn a lot. When I lived in Naples, Florida, I never knew you had a dredge project. But I've learned lately that you do. And our Department of Environmental Protection is thinking about it. And I'm going to make sure. And after today, they'll know a lot more on Monday. You know, the one thing you learn by doing this job, I travel pretty much every day. Yesterday I was in Tallahassee, then I was in Stewart, then I was in Naples, then I was in Miami. I came to Orlando. This is a blur. Today I was in Orlando, and then I've been here, and I go back to Tallahassee, and then I go to D.C. tomorrow. But one thing about traveling the state is you learn a heck of a lot more. You can't, I don't know how you can do this job if you don't, because you don't learn enough. And so the best thing about doing this job is you travel around, and I tell people, tell me what your issues are, and there's something that I can't solve, but if I can tell you the people that I put in these positions, they want to solve problems. Now some people don't want these problems solved, but we're not your solution then, because we're trying to get these problems behind us. But you know, anything that you think we ought to be focused on that we're not, or whether it's DCA or DEP or Department of Transportation, I think the people that we're putting in these positions do want to solve the problem. And so I know more about the dredge project here than but with regard to the ports, we have a big opportunity with our ports and with the expansion of all the shipping, and it's something I know we can win at. Now the rest is, I talk to Rick Curry in Texas every 2 or 3 weeks, and every time I say, well, what are you doing that's working? Because we want to win, and so I got to do it a little bit better than you. And so he asked me what I'm doing, and I tell him, nothing. I haven't got anything done there. So, but it's really the way you think about this, because if we don't think about that, people are thinking about, do they move their company or start their company in Texas, or do they do it in Florida? Do they do it here, or do they do it in Panama? And I was in Panama with a lot of the shipping people in shipping in the state, and a lot of the port directors, and there are plenty of American companies that have moved jobs down there, a lot. And they have a very low unemployment rate because right now, with the Panama Canal expansion and things like that, they are growing rapidly. We've got to think about people. Why are they moving jobs there rather than here? Or why are they doing things in China rather than here, or India, all these things? Because if we don't, we're going to continue to lose jobs. Now, some good things are happening on that. We've gone in December, unemployment was 12%. In March, it's 11.1%, so that's a positive. We still have 1 million people out of work. So we've got to continue to focus on these things. But I'm going, agency by agency. as example, we have a little over 500,000 people on unemployment. So you got to understand what that agency does. And we weren't checking to see if people were applying for jobs.
They're not applying.
Think about that. I mean, that's not fair.
That's right.
I mean, you know, we need to have a safety net, but also people need to be doing their job. So we're doing that agency by agency, making sure it's fair that people pay the taxes and pay their way.
Good.
So those are things that are going on. We've got 7 days of session left. I hope all of you have your House member and Senate member's number. If not, you can just call my office. We'll give it to you. It's really important that you let everyone know what you believe in. One thing I'm trying to make sure is that we reduce the business tax. We have a 5.5% business tax. We have a 5.5% business tax. We need to phase it out. And the reason why is it's a very small part of our budget. If we can phase it out, there's just another reason why people want to build their businesses here. And everything we can do to get people to build their businesses here, every tax, every fee. The other thing we need to do is control the size of our government. But let your House member, let your Senate member know exactly what you think about that. We've got to make sure we fix citizens insurance and our property insurance. Let your House member know. There are so many things when you spend time in Tallahassee that are, special interests have, they get their voices heard. And it's so fascinating. There's thousands of people that are in Tallahassee every day during session. And I think about it like, I remember when my daughters were growing up, they're 26 and 28, and they're probably just as good at this now. But they were very focused on what they wanted, and often they won. And it's no different than what a special interest does. They're very focused on their needs, and that's how they win. And we are out here every day working, paying the taxes. We don't have time to go to Tallahassee. So because of that, what you got to do is you got to call, you got to email, you got to write, and let people know exactly what you think. And then remember what people said in these campaigns. Hold all of us accountable. So in my case, let me finish with this. In my case, I'm going to do exactly what I said in my race. I'm not going to blink. I'm not going to waver. All right? If you think I am, it's easy to get the telephone number. I can give it to you for the governor's office. Call and complain. Because I'm going to do exactly this. I've been in business all my life. I know that's how you succeed in business. If you do the right thing day in and day out, and somebody holds you accountable, you get better at it. I want to be held accountable. We all know that people that are held accountable do better. But the other side of it is you have to show up every day. You can't show up just for elections. You have to show up every day because things are happening every day. Whether that's a regulation that's being proposed from one of these agencies, or whether it's a bill that's being proposed and moving down the path. And you'd be surprised at bills that move quickly that you're shocked, and bills that move slowly that you can't understand why they're not happening like that based on what people said in their campaigns. So stay active and get on these websites, look at what people are doing, and hold them accountable and hold me accountable. So let me finish with this. I am very appreciative. I ran for governor because I believe in the American dream. I've gotten to live the American dream. I want that dream for my kids, my grandkids, for everybody in Florida and everybody in the United States. And the way to do it is make this the model state. Make this the state that everybody has to compete with. Because if we do the right things here, the rest of the country has to compete with us. Because people will move here and they'll move out of these other states. So we've got to do the right thing. I'm committed to doing it. Hold me accountable. I thank everybody in this room for their votes. I thank everybody in this room for their support during the race. And if you haven't, I'm very serious. If you ever think I'm not doing the right thing, call me, and I'll keep doing it. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to be here.